All right, YouTube, what is happening? It is Craig Harris, and I am back with another video. Let's see what has been going on. I am sorry for being late. I had technical difficulties. I had to reinstall Google Chrome as it was trying to launch the podcast through an old Internet Explorer. But I like to say a quick shout out to everybody. Hope everybody's staying warm. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky, where it is bitter cold, and it's getting colder. What else is going on here? Yeah, I got some more news for we got the NPD results, which were kind of a surprise, I guess. I don't know why NPD is so big. There's also other gaming news, but I'd like to give a shout out to the now 54 subs that I have. Thank you all for joining and hanging out. And as I said, I will kind of podcast with you guys. It's not that big a deal. Just hit me up on Twitter. Had one guy hit me up, and I have not heard back from him yet. So without due notice, let's get this started. Let me start here with some news that I just saw that happened on Thursday that did not get reported. PlayStation EU has got a trailer up for Elite Dangerous coming to the PlayStation 4. This is a pretty big deal. This is one of the games that I was hoping that PlayStation would get sooner than later. This is the reason why I bought my Xbox, was to get Elite Dangerous. But let's hope that it comes with Horizons. I'm excited for it. I certainly hope that it does everything that they say it's going to do. It's a pretty nice translation on the Xbox. And so we'll see what Sony does. But that is good news for the PlayStation owner. That was the breaking news. Let me go to how I staged the podcast here. Let me start with some more TV sales. This is going to be TV sales. I'm going to talk a little bit about the new Spider-Man trailer, Homecoming, and then I'll go into the news that I do have. I'm going to cut out the Nintendo Switch news because the person I thought was coming on was not able to make it. So that's fine. I got some other news here. And at the end, I'm going to discuss the future of Xbox, the Xbox community, what's been happening to it this week. They're in major damage control, and I don't know why. But here we go. Let's start with the TV sales. I did go to Walmart this morning, and I saw some TVs that were actually some pretty nice TV deals. You can get a 4K Vizio, which is it's a nice TV, and we're still under the $600 mark. Well, we were right at the $600 mark. So just remember, if you get a 4K TV, and I'll be going into NPD sales a little bit later, you may want to pay less than $700, and I'll get into that a little bit later. So this is for somebody who's in between $650 and $350. I didn't write down the model number, but it's Vizio 4K. Again, it's a nice TV. Nice TV. Also, if you just want to go to 1080p, 120 hertz, not LG, Samsung's got a TV in there. This is at 1080p. I'm going to suggest folks stay at 1080p. They have a 1080p TV. It was on sale for $368, I believe. Again, not a bad buy for 1080p. But again, if you're going to be playing video games, and again, LG had a TV in there as well. I skipped the LG TV because if you're looking at the TV to play games, LG is not a good TV to get because of the latency issues. But get in, I've said that before. You guys have got to really look at that. And Walmart does. These are some late 2015 or early 2016, late 2015 TVs, and that's why Walmart's TVs are always a little bit lower. They are a lower scale on the dynamic, but there's some good TVs. Also, there's a curved 1080p 120 hertz Samsung TV. I do not recommend this TV because it's $500 and it's only 120 hertz. If you're going to get 1080p, get a good picture. This Samsung TV, even though it's curved, it's based on the TV ratings that I've seen, it's got a bad overall display. So yes, it is curved. It is under $600. but you may want to be leery about that one. But that's, again, these are for the TV people that, again, miss Black Friday, and there's always another sale. There's a huge sale coming up this weekend at Best Buy, H.H. Gregg, Walmart, Target. Of course, they'll match everything. So just be on the hunt, especially if you're between $400 and $600. Those are some good TVs you can buy. I always remember to have a big enough TV stand. This is another thing I've seen people tweet me about. They'll get their TV, they'll get it home, and it's like, oh, hell, it won't fit on my stand. Then they're going out spending another $60, $70 on a TV stand, something that you should have done before you bought your TV, folks. Always measure your stand. I've got two stands. One is for the big 57-inch screen TV I was going to get. I backed out of that TV. I'm going to get into that a little later, and I'll tell you guys why. All right. I told you all about that. Now, let's get into some gaming news here. I told you about Elite Dangerous. Halo 5 multiplayer. They being Microsoft, it's moving some of these maps, the Forge map, and I think one more map, to the PC. Now, this out of Halo 5. Now, let me ask you guys something. Do you not think this could be the prelude to them moving Halo 5 to PC? They're already crossing it and letting people play online. So do you see what I see? Do you see this as a prelude of them moving more stuff into the into this realm of PC? And I think this is where Microsoft is going to go. I'm going to add a little bit later. But that's big news. I mean, that's big news. That's Halo. Halo is their baby. Halo's been around since the OG Xbox, one of my favorite game series. I've beaten them all. It is fun to play. I recommend it for everybody. It's just a good old-fashioned fun way to spend a Saturday if you're not busy outside doing stuff. Let's go to some other news here. Sony winning the NPD in November. And not only did they win NPD, they won it overwhelmingly. I mean, it wasn't even close. I've said before that Microsoft is roughly at 28.6 to 28.6 to 30 million consoles in sales, and they still aren't sniffing where the PlayStation is. PlayStation 4 is the most successful console in history, home history. So, which means I believe it's outselling the old Nintendo, the one that came with Duck Hunt. I don't know if it eclipsed that, but my goodness gracious, folks, what a year Sony has had. You've had naysayers in the gaming community, especially in the Xbox community that I'm in, saying what the Pro cannot do. It does 4K gaming. It does some 4K gaming. It mostly is for people who have 1080p TVs. I'm really going to recommend a 1080p TV if you haven't already gone out and got a 4K TV, for the simple fact is one of the things in NPD, everybody's so caught up in the console war, the UHD sales, I'm talking about Blu-ray sales and Blu-ray standalone Blu-ray player sales, did not go well over the holidays. And the holidays aren't over yet. There's still 2.5 weeks left. But it did not go well. And the standalones, and it's a shame because the Samsung standalone player, the 8500D, that thing is $200 and they can't get it off the damn shelves, folks. And that literally means that, and the movies are still costing $30, $35. Yes, you can go on eBay and maybe get them for $24. But I personally, this is my personal opinion about UHD. I think a lot of us got overclocked, kind of saying, with this whole 4K HDR thing. And HDR gaming is nice, but it's not the reason you buy the 4K TV for gaming. Okay, buy that 4K TV because we're going to watch movies and stuff like that. Movies in HDR do look a little bit better. I got no issue with that. But I'm going to say to people, if you have not bought a 4K TV, wait at least until the sales in the spring, when you get your income tax money back or things like that, because it's going to be hard if you buy a UHD TV you have a UHD player, but there's not a lot of content moving on it. Again, I've said this on podcasts before, and a big shout out to PlayStation News Now and Dark Cloud having me back on their podcast. I really enjoyed it. Just people talking games, no drama. I mean, there's some ribbing kind of going back and forth, but there's just no drama on the podcast. And please go to their channels and like them and rate those videos that those guys are doing. And again, I just appreciate being able to sit on the gaming couch. So, so all my subs, please go sub to them. And any suggestions you got for me while I'm on gaming couch, just let me know, and I'll try to bring them to them. Again, I've been on for back-to-back shows, and I do appreciate them looking at. I mean, a little YouTuber like me, getting on with those guys because those guys are truly professional. But back to what I was saying about this whole NPD thing. One of the things that's gone under, not looked at, are the UHD sales, and they're not where they need to be to sustain the industry as far as people moving from. You're not getting people moving from Blu-ray to UHD. I know it's the same thing, Blu-ray to UHD. That's not happening. Okay, it's just not happening. It's not happening fast enough. So either you're going to have to see a massive reduction in price on UHD movies, because they'll have a better sense. They now have a sense on how UHD is doing with this NPD. The most important thing about this NPD wasn't gaming stuff. That's for the fanboys. And unless you're invested in the company, like I have money invested in Microsoft, so I'm glad they're able to sell consoles. But unless you have money invested in the companies, there is absolutely no reason to get caught up in this NPD. There have been 36 NPDs as far as this console generation. Microsoft has won like 6 or 7 of them. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's 6 or 7. And I don't want to hear, oh, well, you're lying, you're being a pony. No. If I'm winning, like if you're playing XCOM and you get a percentage of shooting something at like 84%, you're going to take that shot. And that's what these guys do not understand. They're being pummeled. I finally heard some podcasts saying that Sony's in more markets. They're in more markets because they have catered to offline gamers. They also have a reason with the PSX coming up. And I don't know about Tokyo Gaming Show, but with PSX, that was just game after game after game. And it's just Capcom's coming back with some of their classics. And my God, what can you say about The Last of Us Part 2? I don't know if that was an in-game engine build or if that was just something they did outside in. But my God, Naughty Dog, they opened with a Naughty Dog game, Uncharted. They closed with Naughty Dog game. And the only thing these idiot Xbox people are running around, what are they running around saying? They are literally saying, oh, well, the games won't be out for another 2 to 3 years. Well, that's what it is. That's what it is. Okay? Microsoft, and there you see the difference in the gaming communities. Microsoft has groomed people, and the only games that get a yearly release are sports games. MLB, Madden, FIFA, here recently, PES soccer. I think that's come out for 3 or 4 back-to-back years, something like that. But do you see how they are wanting games every year, and no developer is going to develop games every single year, except the Xbox fanboy has been groomed to think that. Whether it be a Forza or Call of Duty, and it's just the reason why the Call of Duty games have gotten sort of stale. They're not horrible, but they've gotten stale because of the constant back-to-back-to-back releases. You give it a couple years, you make people want it more. What is it? Apps just makes the heart grow fonder. I just don't understand why the Xbox community does not understand this. Sony, because they make movies, just imagine when you see a movie, a trailer for a movie that a lot of people went and saw, Captain America Civil War, that first trailer came out like 7 or 8 months before the movie came out. They had like 3 trailers for that movie. That's what Sony does with its games. When I saw the games that Naughty Dog was working on, I don't want it to be rushed out. Do you? when I see the game like a God of War, the new God of War that's coming out, I don't want it to be rushed out. The average to bring a game from development to where it is as far as production is 3 to 4 years. 3 is the mean, so 3 years. So I expect The Last of Us to come out. They've been working on it since the end of Uncharted 4. They actually had what you saw at PSX ready to go at E3, but E3 they were showing Days Gone and games like that. You know, Hellblade. It's just they've got games and Microsoft doesn't. That's part of the problem. Microsoft does have a list of games. I do have a list of a few games that are coming out next year. No release date months, but next year. So when you have franchises like Call of Duty and my God, Mass Effect, again, Commander Shepard is synonymous with Xbox. They have jumped ship now. Sony gets their marketing rights. So I'm breaking that here tonight. That's what you saw if you watched the VGAs was the PS4 Pro version of Mass Effect. Again, what is going on? Shout out to the one viewer that dipped in here. We always get one viewer watching this. So a shout out to you. I appreciate you coming in here and listening. But where was I? Okay, yeah, the NPD. So what NPD is showing me is that yes, the raw numbers, I saw those last week, and it was total domination. I'm talking roto-rooter, what they did to Microsoft. So, and you have to understand Microsoft went into 3 to 4 months they did was simple. That once they announced the Pro is coming out, nobody's going to go out and buy the Slim, which, oh, by the way, a lot of people went out and bought the Slim. You know, which shocked me, but nevertheless, they bought the Slim. But again, it had a nice bundle. Microsoft was giving their damn thing away. A friend of mine got engaged over the holiday. Congratulations to him. But since he spent $1,000 at the jewelry store, he got an Xbox One S. I mean, it's just, you know, also at Best Buy, I know during the Black Friday thing, if you bought a certain TV or something like that, you got an Xbox One S with it. So, and I'm not for sure what deal that TV was. I don't know why my screen is blinking. Hopefully everything's working out and the podcast sounds good. But what NPD is showing me is that the people who went out and bought UHD TVs like myself, we may, and, you know, broke our backs to get HDR and things like that. We maybe should have waited, because it looks like the TVs are going to keep coming down. And unless we're going to wait on the Scorpion, which the rumor is now it's going to cost, you know, $450. And it had to do something because Sony with that $399, they kind of threw a gauntlet down. $399, and people were like, well, doesn't play movies. Well, looks like UHD movies aren't moving, kind of, and Sony does make movies. So, well, maybe you can stream in 4K instead, guys. It certainly looks like the UHD market is not going to do what they thought. Also with VR, PlayStation did sell more VR units than Oculus and HTC and Samsung combined, but they revised that number down. They were at 1.7 million. Was the projection. They revised that number way down to under 850,000. It's still a good, it's still a good market. They maybe oversold it, but Sony is corralling in the people that are going to be wanting VR. And Microsoft did do a good thing by farming that out to Oculus. Now, Microsoft doesn't have to worry about putting a VR device together for their system. That actually helped them bring the price down. So I hope for consumer in me is saying Scorpion's got to be $400, $450. I still think we're looking at $5. Now I'm going to revise my number from $629. I'll come down to $549 at this point for the Scorpion, but that's just a guess. That is just a guess. Part of the problem with the Xbox community, and again, I'm part of that community. I have an Xbox One S, is that we're so caught up in what everybody else is doing. I mean, we're talking about the Scorpion. It's still not out. I can't go to the store and buy a Scorpion. I can't even reserve one yet. put money down on it or whatever you want to put it. But yet you have people talking about it in the community. Sony already has a system out that does 4K native gaming, because I saw friggin' oh my goodness, I can't think of the name of the game, Skyrim on it. Then they've announced more games that are going to be converted to 4K native. So everybody needs to give it a rest. And I certainly hope, so me wrapping up NPD, I certainly hope this ends the whole NPD console war thing. You just had a major analyst from Forbes come out today and say that Microsoft is 20 to 22 million units behind Sony. 20 to 22 million units. They will never catch up. So let's just play the game. So let me move on to some of the games that Microsoft is supposed to have come out in 2017. No months on their dates as far as release dates, but here we go. Scalebound. This is Microsoft reaching out to the JRPG community that, that's wanting them to diversify their games. This game may be able to do that. Let's give Microsoft some credit here. Sea of Thieves. Again, another game that's not like anything that's on the Xbox or for the PlayStation for that matter. And this is good, diverse. This is a good, diverse lineup. You got to sell your games to a diverse group of people that like different things. And this is good. Cuphead. Cuphead, again, I'm excited about Cuphead. So them putting out new IP has not been the problem. They put out new IP, whether it be Sunset Overdrive or whatever that was called. And then you had Quantum Break. It's their community that does not support the games. Tomb Raider comes out last year opposite Fallout 4. Are you kidding me? Whose idea was that? So it's this. And Tomb Raider, again, I understand the definitive version of Tomb Raider is on PC. The definitive console version is on the PlayStation 4. I've seen it, and I've said you can see the pores on that girl's face on the PlayStation Pro. Excuse me. I don't have my drink here. But actually, let me step away and get my drink real quick. It's in my other room. I don't know. I'll be right back. Here we go. I've had 3 straight days off, and I'm on my bourbon and Coke today. Last time I'm doing it, though. All right. So, but the scary thing about NPD is that, back to the UHD thing, that's not going good, folks. I certainly hope we didn't get sold a bill of goods with it. I know a lot of people went out and bought 4K TVs. But a lot of people did not buy UHD movies. So it just tells me that if you're not going to buy you're going to buy a UHD TV, but you're going to wait on the movies to start coming down. Okay, hopefully that's the next step. But I'm more worried about Hollywood not converting a lot of their movies from the 496p or 4096p you see at the movie theater to the 2160 that you're going to get on UHD. That's not happening, folks, fast enough. I think Paramount's done it, and a couple other studios have done it, but a lot of people, Warner Brothers, I think, has done it. So hopefully more people follow suit. All right. Back to the games again. As I said, Scalebound, Sea of Thieves, Cuphead. That's it. We get a major spring release. Hopefully, knock wood, Mass Effect Andromeda comes out on time in the spring. Where everybody was speculating it was going to be March 21st. That way you get the kind of the 3, 2, 1 liftoff thing. Some people are now saying May. I just hope that BioWare keeps their word with EA and they can get this game out soon. Sony is going to have their big game coming out in the next 100 days. Man, I am getting Alzheimer's. I can't. It's Horizon Zero Dawn. And that's going to be a system seller. I think a lot of people will buy the Pro for that reason alone. I believe it's going to be either 1440p to 1800p upscale. It's not a true 4K game, but again, a lot of the games that Sony has out, they were already, 60 to 65% developed before it got pushed out. Got delayed, some didn't. Also, Scalebound, go back to Microsoft Scalebound, see if these Cuphead, Crackdown is not coming out until December. So they're looking at it being kind of like the Last Guardian type deal, which is, again, is fine. I'm not dissing nobody here. But the NPD, as far as the console sales and software sales and things like that, that was a come to Jesus moment. And hopefully everybody can just walk away now and start playing their games. If you're an Xbox One fan, are you really that shocked that Sony, had a record November? Are you that surprised? And it's going to continue into this month of December. I fully expect that when January NPD comes out, Sony's going to win that too. I mean, Microsoft is starting to pour more resources into the Scorpion. That's kind of their backstop. That was a nice transition. I'm moving into the future of Xbox and what I think they're really trying to do. Based on a couple people I've talked to at Microsoft, they've already kind of told you what they're doing. They don't believe in generations anymore. So the Scorpion should be able to play all Xbox games. We're talking about going back to OG Xbox, to other Xbox games. They claim they don't want to leave anybody behind. So the Xbox 360 games will now, they have the backwards compatibility thing going. I know a lot of their fans ask for that. I think it's nice. I'm playing Mass Effect 3 right now. I'm having fun with Mass Effect 3 again, so I'm happy with the backwards compatibility. But it's not a selling point. It's like I've said before. It's for me. It's more like, you go to the restaurant, you order a hamburger, and it comes with fries. And since it comes with fries, we're excited about that. That's kind of what backwards compatibility is. Again, I have no beef with it. I think it's cool. But it's not a selling point, not for me. And what else here? The future of Microsoft. So they're moving things. They're moving more stuff into the PC realm. They announced PC. They pretty much get rid of all their exclusives. I just think they're moving people towards the PC to game from PC. That they make an Xbox is just going to be a service on your PC. Again, every time you get an achievement on the Xbox games, your PC will my PC makes a noise chime because everything's connected, which again, they're kind of copying what Apple did with their devices, marrying the devices together. And the Xbox community just needs to understand this. I understand this. So, but this thing, as far as the whole console war, fake console war, it's over. And I'm hoping that NPD puts an end to it. You have people talking about they want to have a party and things like that. And it's over and done with. So let me move to a movie thing now. The new Spider-Man trailer came out. Looked really good. I'm actually excited about watching this movie. You can kind of see the deal they made with Sony. And that is that they got Spider-Man in Civil War. And they wanted Tony Stark in the new Spider-Man movie. And then we got him, and looks cool. Vulture's costume played by Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton's effectively been Batman. He's been Birdman in that movie, which I hope everybody watches because that's really a good movie. And now he's playing a villain here, and it looks like a cool costume. So hopefully it works out that with this whole Sony sharing deal, and they can get Spider-Man into Infinity War. So, again, the trailer was cool. I suggest everybody watch it. It's fun to watch. Hopefully Sony knocks this out of the park. This is a co-sharing event with Marvel, so everybody needs to go and support it. But that wraps this up pretty much. I just wanted to do this podcast to really thank PlayStation News Now and the Gamer Couch for having me on there. And so shout out to Next Gen 720 and One Stop for Gamers. You guys keep doing your thing. And, I'm Craig Harris, the black man in the blue chair. Oh, shout out to JD and shout out to Widowmaker. Widowmaker been going through it, not trying to – and yes, people need to understand the Scorpion is a next-gen console. It is going to be playing UHD movies. It's going to have VR capability, and it's going to allegedly play all games in 4K, which I think is fine. That's a great lofty goal. Let's see if they can do it. Let's see some games, Microsoft. Sony kind of threw down a gauntlet, so we're really excited about that. The other breaking news I saw, this is a fanboyish thing I saw, where somebody named that calls himself Iron Wolf allegedly has switched over to the PlayStation, and people are just going through it. Look, that guy's a consumer just like you are, and if he was not satisfied with what his preferred brand was doing, he has every right to go to somewhere else. If you don't like McDonald's, you can go to Burger King as a consumer. All right, but that is it for this video. Please like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and a shout out again to all the viewers and my 54 subs. I do appreciate it. Again, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I got to work tomorrow night. I got to work Sunday night, so probably won't be doing another podcast till next week. Not unless I get invited to one tonight, I may be able to do it. All right, but thanks a lot, guys, for listening to me. Again, shout out to everybody. Stay safe and warm out there. Peace.